Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another plan with me video, and we will be setting up my bullet journal for January 2022. But if you guys want some inspiration for the beginning pages of the new year, I'll link the video of my 2022 bullet journal setup over here. So now, without further ado, let's start planning. So the theme that I went for this month is a paper crane theme, which is inspired by the one and only Amanda Rach Lee. But the main reason why I went for this theme is the meaning behind it. So before deciding on the theme, I went on the internet and did some reading about paper cranes. And I was so touched by the story of Sadako and the 1,000 paper cranes, so that's why I decided to go for a paper crane theme this month. So if you don't know about the story, here's a quick summary of it. So the story begins with a young Japanese girl called Sadako Sasaki, and she was exposed to radiation as an infant when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima during World War II. And although she survived the bomb, she was diagnosed with leukemia by the age of 12. Therefore, she decided to fold 1,000 paper cranes, hoping that her wish to live would become true, because traditionally it was believed that if one folded 1,000 origami cranes, one wish would be granted by the gods. But unfortunately, she was only able to fold 644 paper cranes before she passed away. So her classmates then continued to fold paper cranes in her honor, and she was buried with a wreath of 1,000 cranes, which is called the Zembazuru, and it has now become a symbol of hope and healing during challenging times. And I honestly think that this theme would be such a perfect fit for the first month of the new year, as 2020 and 2021 were definitely not the best years because of the COVID pandemic, so I think some hope would be great for a brand new year. So now that we're done with the cover page, I'm going to be setting up my monthly calendar spread. So for my monthly calendar spread, I decided to go for a very simple layout where I list down the days of the month vertically, and the space beside it will be for me to write down any important events or tasks. And just like the cover page, I also drew different paper cranes of different sizes at different angles, like hanging on strings from the top of the page. And I honestly really like the peaceful and calming vibe it gives off. And for the color palette, as you can see here, I went for some pastel colors instead of really bright colors, just to amplify the peaceful and calming vibes of the page. Now, flipping over to the next page is my mood tracker. So for the last few setups, I was really getting lazy with setting up my trackers, so that's why I always use the graph layout for both my mood and habit tracker. But it's the new year now, so I decided to go all out for my trackers. So as you can see here, I drew 31 paper cranes of different sizes and at different angles for my mood tracker. And if you guys are wondering on how I will be using the tracker, I will just color the paper cranes with different colors according to my mood. So now the page next to it is my habit tracker, and just like my mood tracker, I decided to draw the individual habit trackers instead of using the graph layout for it. So as you can see here, I'm just drawing 6 mini calendars for each habit. And if you're finding it tedious to draw them, you can actually go and buy some rubber calendar stamps, or just print out some calendars and stick them onto the spread. And on top of each mini calendars, I will just be writing down the habit that I want to track, like studying, reading, working out, taking vitamins, skincare, and no spending. Now, moving on to the next page is my trusty budget tracker. So this tracker has been with me since the beginning of my bullet journal journey because I just really enjoy having a spread where I can keep track of all my income and expenses. So as usual, for my budget tracker, I will be using this table layout where I have 4 columns that represents the date, the detail, the plus sign is for income, and the minus sign is for expenses. And at the bottom, I'm just going to use it to total up both the income and expenses at the end of the month. Alright, so now that we're done with the budget tracker, the page next to it is going to be my monthly playlist spread. So it's really been a while since I did a playlist spread, and I actually brought it back in December because I was kind of missing it. Like, I miss having a specific spread for me to just write down any songs that I discovered and really liked during that month. So for my playlist spread, I drew 4 rectangular boxes hanging on strings, and as you can see here, I also drew some paper cranes like the ones that I did for my cover page. And I honestly really like the overall layout of the spread. And by the way guys, if you have any nice song recommendations, feel free to just leave a comment down below so that I can check out the songs that you guys enjoy too. Now flipping over to the next 2 pages are my all-time favorite brain dump spread. I honestly can't stress enough on how I love this spread because this spread has been really helpful and convenient whenever I want to just list down ideas that comes to my mind. And besides that, I also like how flexible the spread is. It really doesn't have any format or rules to follow, and I can just list down any random thoughts or ideas that comes to my mind in this spread. So now, the last spread for today's video is my first weekly spread of the month. So in my last few bullet journal setups, I did like a Dutch door style weekly spread, which I really enjoy, but I kind of got a little bored of them because I was using them for 3 consecutive months. So I decided to just make some minor changes for my weekly spreads. So as you can see here, I'm making a 2-page weekly spread where Monday to Wednesday is on the left page and Thursday to Sunday is on the right page. And for the empty spaces, I once again drew the paper cranes hanging on strings. And if you feel like you want to use the empty spaces instead of decorating them, you can actually use that space to write down your events, tasks, or even notes. And I guess that's all for this weekly spread. And if you guys are interested in my other weekly spreads layout for January, I will be making a separate video on it, and I'll be uploading it probably in the first week or second week of January. So now, here's the final flip through of my bullet journal setup for January 2022. I honestly really like how it turned out and also the meaning behind all of it. And if you want to know more about paper cranes and the story behind it, I have linked a few resources in the description box below for you to check out. And lastly, I want to wish everyone a happy new year, and may this coming new year brings you lots of hope, joy, happiness, peace, and love. And if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe and follow my Instagram and Kofi at lootengstudio. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.